I am never going to stop playing the villain. I would be foolish to do so because the audiences apparently enjoy watching me, and who am I to say no? We don't live in a particularly attractive world. I don't really remember, except as a small boy, anything but a pretty grim world. There is something sad about malevolence, to be wicked. I have always tried to make that come across in the villains I have played. I was always interested in enchantment and magicians and still am. I still think The Lord of the Rings is the greatest literary achievement in my lifetime. Like so many other people, I couldn't wait for the second and then the third book. Nothing like it had ever been written. Ian Fleming was my cousin, and he wanted me to play Dr. No. But by the time he got around to remembering to tell the producers, they'd already cast someone else. Spilled milk. When I was very young, around the age of 9, my family used to go to a house in Somerset that my stepfather rented every summer. There was fishing, lakes and riding. The saddest country I went to was Romania, years ago, during Ceausescu's rule. You can learn Elvish, if you want. It's a language like Italian and English. You can learn to read it, you can learn to write it, and you can learn to speak it. I've worked with Tim Burton 5 times, and it's just like being part of a family. Life doesn't get much better than that. I knew Vincent Price from films. He was a big movie star, but the first time I met him was when we filmed The Oblong Box. Ian Fleming was my cousin, you know. He was in naval intelligence. Comedy is the most difficult thing to do. Easily the most difficult. I made 3 films with Boris Karloff. He was absolutely wonderful. I didn't want to be known as a man who only made horror films. I made some, very few. When I first read Lord of the Rings, I wanted to see a film of it. But at that time, the technology wasn't there, there was no such thing as CGI. Somebody once asked me how I found Peter Jackson, and I said, well, I parted his hair, and there he was. Before Lord of the Rings, some people would have just classed Peter Jackson as a horror director. But there is a mind there. I have made a lot of movies, but I don't see any point in talking about films I don't think are terribly good. I have been in a few. I don't know any actor that hasn't. A whole new career opened up for me when I was in Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. What's really important for me is, as an old man, I'm known by my own generation and the next generation know me, too. We don't always get the kind of work we want, but we always have a choice of whether to do it with good grace or not. The secret to a long marriage in the film industry? Marry someone wonderful, as I did. And always have her come along on location. As far as I am concerned, Don Quixote is the most metal fictional character that I know. Single-handed, he is trying to change the world, regardless of any personal consequences. I've done a lot of films that have become iconic, not necessarily because of me. I'm much softer than people think. I don't present to the world an emotional face. I'm pretty good at self-control, but I am easily moved. I turn to the Telegraph's obituaries page with trepidation. I haven't spent my entire career playing the guy in the bad hat, although I have to say that the bad guy is frequently much more interesting than the good guy. I haven't done lots of horror. The first Charlemagne album is metal, of course, but what I sang was more symphonic. Not every Hammer film was perfect. The thing I have always tried to do is surprise people, to present them with something they didn't expect. Peter Jackson's instincts are extraordinary, as is his stamina. There was a gap of 7 years between the first and second Dracula movies. In the second one, as everybody knows, I didn't speak, because I said I couldn't say the lines. I thought that people should know about the dangers of Satanism, and diabolism does exist, there's no question about it. Let's just say I was in special forces and leave it at that. People can read into that what they like. I've always acknowledged my debt to Hammer. I've always said I'm very grateful to them. They gave me this great opportunity, made me a well-known face all over the world, for which I am profoundly grateful. In 1956, the success of the Hammer films kick-started my career. That immediately gave me a name and a face to go with it. I will always be grateful to Hammer for that. The Wicker Man, for me, as an actor, was definitely the best film I've ever done. My great-grandmother was born in London, the daughter of a Brixton coachman, and became the most famous singer in Australia. Her name was Marie Carandini, Madame Carandini. If I had any deadly secrets, I wouldn't still be alive. There are many vampires in the world today. You only have to think of the film business. One of the first things a British visitor to Southern California discovers is that he must have a car. Freeways. Bad public transport. I took driving lessons. To be a legend, you've either got to be dead or excessively old. I wasn't a spy. I'd have been spotted in 5 seconds. Yes, I was in intelligence, but that covered a multitude of things. The most important film I made, in terms of its subject and the great responsibility I had as an actor, was a film I did about the founder of Pakistan called Jinnah. If I had any deadly secrets, I wouldn't still be alive. I associate heavy metal with fantasy because of the tremendous power that the music delivers. My father's family can be traced back to 1400. I've been told by gypsies that there is unmistakably gypsy blood in me. Lee is a gypsy name, you know. I did play Ramses II once, who lived to be 91 and had 120 children. But he died 4,000 years ago. It's what you don't see that keeps you on the edge of your seat in any kind of film. Leave it to the imagination of the viewer. My favorite country is Finland because once you get to a certain point, you can drive for hours without seeing a single person. I love peace and quiet, something I don't get very often. The Impossible Dream is, in my opinion, one of the greatest songs ever written. Here's a man, an old man, a very old man full of daring, bravery, courage, determination, romanticism and dreams.